Just a brief bio for those of you who don't. Doug was a professional hockey player from 1980, 1982. He coached professionally until about 85. And then he met Judy on an icy parking lot, sold her a car. And she needed insurance, so he started stalking her around, selling her insurance. And then he got into the pond business about 1990. And I've known Doug for a number of years now, and I can't sit in a room with him without learning something new. So I'm really excited to bring him on board for you guys today.
It's not quite exactly what I was looking for. I've always had this dream, and I'd like you to help me make my dream come true. Come on.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fulfill Doug's dream. So when everybody to stand up,
Not getting naked.
there's no clapping or no
Darn.
anything, all right? We're going to practice once, and then we're going to really do it, okay? So here's the trick. We want us all to yell loudly. Say it once, and we'll practice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doug and Judy Harvey. That's what he wants, okay? And then he's going to run in, like slow-mo. It's going to be great, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doug and Judy Harvey. So practice once. We won't get crazy. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doug and Judy Harvey. Okay, are we ready? Now this is the real thing. Woo! And I want some woos at the end. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doug and Judy Harvey.
My only problem is you're all standing, and I don't think the camera caught me coming out. No. Ego in that.
We need to do it again.
Can we?
No, I don't say that.
Hey, it's reality TV. Nothing's real.
That was absolutely wonderful. And you know what? If you're a seminar presenter, I don't have any nerves anymore. I had a lot of nerves over there, and I don't have any more. So isn't that the greatest thing that could ever happen, is that your nerves are gone? Is the energy in the room up? Woo-hoo! Is it ever? Okay. I'm going to ramble on a little bit, and then we're going to get into the seminar. There's a few things that I want to go over just before we get started. You know, we went with the Super Bowl of selling, and I thought it's going to be a wonderful game. And it's going to be so humongous that everybody's going to be, all right, the Super Bowl, isn't that amazing? That was a great experience. And then we're going to get into the selling. And then I'm watching the game on Sunday, and it's like, oh no, this is a downer. This is bad. Look what happened here. You know what came to my mind? I'm a keep it simple guy. I don't know anything about football, but I know a lot about keeping it simple. You know when you huff the ball? So that shows I don't know anything about football. You know what's that mean? Snap the ball? Huff the ball? I always felt like you should just get the damn game on. You know? Don't fool around. Just huff the ball and get started. So I'm watching the game, and I see this Peyton Manning guy, you know, starting to do an audible or something like that. He's not keeping it simple. The guy in front is nervous. And he comes forward not keeping it simple, and where did the ball go? And it's over. I'm telling you, it's over right there. That was a huge lesson for me. Because I've watched that guy doing audibles all the time, going back and forth, and I thought, well, that's not a good thing to do. And it proved itself in the Super Bowl. How many people are Denver fans other than Tim here? How many people are not Denver fans? Yeah, that's it. Okay, I want to go way back here for a minute. What's going to happen is I'm going to do a lot of talking, and Judy's going to do a little bit of talking. There will be times when Judy just raise her hands, and she will step up and interrupt me. That will be okay. That'll be planned. Is that okay with you? Because like, we've been married for 30 years, that's basically what happens almost every day. No. I was talking to somebody here and I said, look how I'm dressed, you know? This is because Judy dresses me. I want you to understand, we kind of do illusions, right? We create water features. They look like really, really natural, but you know, they're in the backyard of a residential suburban home. They're really quite an illusion, aren't they? They're an illusion of what really happens in nature. We're very, very, very good at it. I'm an illusion here. This is not me. If you came home to my house, Jack's been there, Charlie's been there, I look more like a farmer. Like I have long boots on, and I like to wear the same thing all the time, so I want you to understand, all of life is an illusion in many ways. So, if you're out there thinking, I can never be here, that is not true. All of you can be here anytime you want to be. Okay? Because I want to take you back to where I come from. Just like Steve Shinwolf. Wasn't that a wonderful talk by Steve Shinwolf? What really, I think the overall thing about Steve's talk for me was how courageous he is. It was a courageous talk because he laid himself out there for you. And that's a wonderful thing. That takes tremendous courage. So just for a few seconds, I'm going to lay myself out for you. Here's where I was. If you're a business person, you're wondering, do I have enough? Am I smart enough? Am I sharp enough? Are these guys out of my league? Will I never be there? I'm never. Listen, there's hope. Back in the day when I first started to do ponds, I did ponds for $1,700. Just a liner, a pump out in the middle, and a hose. And then, a momentous occasion, the train pulled up for Judy and I at a home show in Toronto, and the Aquascape product line was there. And Judy is the one who got us involved in it. But to make a long story short, the Aquascape product line in a kit at that time in Canada cost $2,300. The great brains, the businessman, the seminar presenter who you see here today said, how is this going to work for us? I only charge $1,700 for a pond. How are we going to make any money when we have to spend $2,300 to buy the kit? It never occurred to me that it's now worth $4,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's how dumb I was. I'm not kidding you. That's where I come from. All right? So, suit up. You're starting if you feel that way. It's okay. Now, when it came time to do seminars, here's how it went. Judy said to me, you could do that. If you've got a good girl, if you're a guy with a good girl, hang on to her. Hang on, because that could be the difference in your life. That could be the train pulling up in front of your life that you married the right person. Stay there. Stay that way. Okay? You want to hear the best financial planning tip I can give you? Just stay married, guys. Just stay married. Because if you don't, half your portfolio is gone. They don't tell you that. When you're young. When you're young, it takes no skill or talent to get married. The skill is not to until you're ready. Right? Okay, I digress. So Judy says, you can do this, Doug. So she goes up to Greg Wickstock and says, Doug can do these seminars. I don't think I can do these seminars. Think about it. I don't think I can do these seminars. Judy says, yes, Doug, you can do these seminars. So she goes to Greg in the old building and she says, Doug can do these seminars. Greg goes, you think so? And she goes, yes, he can. Greg says, have him come and see me at the lunch break. Now, another train has pulled up in front of the Doug Harvey station. I'm looking at Greg at lunch and I'm thinking, oh, he looks really busy. He's got people around him all the time. I don't want to be impolite. That's a Canadian thing, right? I don't want to be impolite. I don't want to walk up and you're talking and say, excuse me, I need to talk to you. So I'm like, this the time? No, it's not. Is this the time? And suddenly lunch is over. Greg's talking. He looks around. Doug, you were supposed to come and see me. Judy, you're fired. You weren't even hired yet. He fired you. Anyway, Greg says to me, we're taking a big limo to supper. Come and see me in the limo. Now, the limo is about 800 feet long. It's one of these Hummer limos. Remember that over there? That was awesome. So I'm, of course, in this end of the limo. He's in that end of the limo. And it's happening again. I'm looking down. Ooh, he's talking to a lot of people. I don't know. I am, like, reluctant. All of a sudden, from the other end of the limo, he looks at me and he says, Doug, you're supposed to come and see me. And he goes over the top of everybody to come and see me. He sits down and he goes, you think you can do this? Yes, I can. I said, yes, I can. Okay. All right. Well, we're having a seminar. He picks up his phone and he calls his assistant, and I'm coming to Chicago 2 or 3 weeks later for my audition. Would you like to hear about my audition? Amazing. It's an amazing company I work with. I'm at the back. It's just like this. It's the kickoff of a big seminar in Chicago. And he says, okay, you're going to get up next. And I said, oh, what do you want me to do? Just say something. Like, he's got 20 contractors. He's got 20 customers in front of him. He's going to have me just get up there and say something. So I said, well, what would you like me to talk about? Say something inspirational. I said, well, okay. Oh, how long would you like me to talk? 20 minutes. Now imagine that. Say something inspirational, 20 minutes. I'm like, okay. Here's what I did. I'll do it right now. I have heard a guy named Brian Tracy. Ever heard of Brian Tracy, anybody? Sales training. Great guy. Wonderful. The psychology of selling. So I decided to do the Brian Tracy, rev it up to go on a sale thing. And what it is when you get up in the morning, he says, you should look in the mirror and get eyeball to eyeball with yourself, and you should say, I like myself. Because when you say, I like myself, it raises your self-esteem a little bit. If you don't like yourself, how can anybody else like you? So I decide I'm going to get all the contractors to say, I like myself. So I start doing my thing, and I go, okay guys, now repeat after me. So let's do it. Repeat after me. I like myself.
I love it.
Now, it wasn't as good as that in Chicago. In Chicago, it was like a murmur. And I'm looking around, everybody's going, oh God, what is this? I'm not going to do this. And in that moment, I started to get like really nervous, and I knew if I do not get the people to respond, I'm done. You know, and this happens like this, in a split second. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in the spiritual side of things. But I'm telling you that somewhere deep inside of me, that I don't even know where it comes from sometimes, I heard myself say, come on guys, you can do it. Say it. I like myself. Come on guys, say it. Go ahead. I like myself. No, I said harder. Say it with feeling. Come on. Say it. Oh yeah, and everybody laughed. Eh? When it was all over, I sat back down, and the back room, Ellen, Brian, Greg's mom, they were all laughing. And I knew I had it. I had it in that moment. It was one way or the other. So that's where I come from. Like, I don't come from a place of being a speaker. I don't come from there. I've learned it along the way. So here, I would like this to be a mountaintop experience for you. I'm going to say some things here that are going to be really, really tough for you to accept and even to understand. I want you to write on your paper right now the words, false expectations appearing real. Write that across the paper. Okay, you got it? False expectations appearing real. Circle the first letter in each word. Anybody ever heard this before?
Yeah, fear.
Okay. Circle the first, F-E-A-R. False expectations appearing real. If you take anything away from what Judy and I are going to talk about this morning, take that away. That when you are fearful, it's probably a false expectation that's really appearing real to you. It's probably not the truth. Your mother's convinced you it's the truth, your dad convinced you it's the truth, your boss, your wife, your girlfriend, life in general, the weatherman, who knows, okay? Jack coined a phrase, I'm going to have to tone it down a little bit. I call it the wimpification of North America. You want to hear what he calls it, don't say it. You can ask him after the meeting. But this is a bugaboo for me. The wimpification of North America is false expectations appearing real. They're scaring the crap out of us every single day. I'm pissed off at this. I'm telling you. And this is how we are manipulated. If you want to be successful, this is the only thing you need to know. Don't be fearful. If you are not fearful, or if you get yourself on the way to becoming unfearful, you are guaranteed to be a success. You will be like a giraffe in a hayfield of mice. You will be, okay? If you take anything away, that's it. Now, at times, I'm going to be talking about stuff here, and false expectations appearing real are going to come slamming right into your face. But that's okay. You can work your way through that, all right? Okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about. Oh, technology. Judy, oh. Oh, there it is. You know the most amazing thing about me, in some ways, is that I can build this massive pond. Absolutely amazing pond. And there was this one time I did it, and then we had to hook up the lights. You know the two little cables that go into the transformer? I'm there with the customer. I can't get it done. I can't get the two little things to go into the screws. And me and the customer are there in the dark. I'm pissed off, you know. And I looked at the customer, I go, do you find this a little ironic? And he looks at me and goes, what do you mean? I said, look at the two of us. We got this all done, and we can't get the damn lights hooked up. Yeah, Doug, it does seem a little funny to me, you know, so now you understand. I'm an enigma. I'm an illusion of everything. Okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to go high level first. High level. I'll tell you something. I never heard the term high level until I got to Aquascape. Back in the day when it was a really amazing place, now money was flowing, Greg used to have focus groups. Remember that, Colin? We used to haul people in, have focus groups. So Greg would haul in people that he thought knew something or other, and he would bring us all together and he would have a focus group. And so I'd be sitting there, and I don't do high level very well. I do minutia, because I'm an analytical, a little bit about that later. So I would say something, this is what I think should be done. A little small thing. And Greg would look at me and go, no, we're not talking about that. We're high level now. And I would go, okay. But I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I had no idea. Are any of you there right now? High level means way up, you know, looking down at things in general terms. Preparing for the game of your life. Now, the game of your life, that's a high level thing. There's a lot that goes on in the game of your life. Okay, so we're up high level. And after that, getting in touch with other people, trying to figure out, you know, what are they all about? So trying to figure out what I'm all about, then trying to figure out what they are all about, and then we're going to start to zoom in on the sales process. And we're going to start to zoom in on why people buy and why they don't buy. So that's what it is. Now, I got taught very, very early. I have had wonderful mentors in my life. If you don't have mentors, for goodness sakes, go out and find some. You have to have mentors. The three guys that had a huge difference in my life in the beginning you know, other than my parents and all this kind of stuff, but business mentors. One guy was Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. Has anybody ever heard of him? Yes, yeah. Old guys know Jim Rohn. It's too bad. When do you turn 57?
When? March 1st.
Ah, you see, you're a little older than me. I turned 57 in October.
You're a spring chicken.
Yes. How many people have heard of Anthony Robbins? 3 more. Anthony Robbins learned from Jim Rohn. Anthony Robbins worked for Jim Rohn, selling seminars for him. He used to go into insurance companies and try to, you know, sales organizations get people to go in. So if you ever get to hear Jim Rohn, or just YouTube Jim Rohn and look at his stuff, it's amazing. What a wonderful man. The second guy was a fellow by the name of Bob Proctor. If you know The Secret, in the movie The Secret, Bob Proctor comes on first. And I'll tell you, just digress for a second here. If I digress too much, just tell me. 25 years ago, I meet Bob Proctor. It's all about, you know, attracting things to yourself, and we're going to go there, you know, a little bit later on in the seminar. But I lose track of him, and my life goes on, and I have his book. It's called You Were Born Rich. I don't know if it's in print now, but if you can get it. You Were Born Rich, Bob Proctor. But anything about Bob Proctor is tremendous. That book is a classic. So anyway, 2 or 3 years ago, I decided I would like to rekindle a relationship with Bob Proctor. It's called an intention. So I send the intention of Bob Proctor out into the ethers, you know? And I even take the step of going on the computer. Now, if you know me, that is a huge step. You know, just to turn a computer on used to be a huge step for me. When I got started with Aquascape, they used to send a guy around with me just to run the computer. Just to set the computer up and run it. Because I didn't know how to do any of that. I just know how to talk. I know how to communicate. I know how to build relationships. I don't want the computer to get in between me and you. There's a point in that, okay? Do not let your computer get in between you and your customer. Don't let technology in the sale process get in between you and them. That won't be good. That won't be as effective as trying to build a really good relationship. So I send this intention out. I even go on there and I get a hold of some guy who's a Bob Proctor agent in Winnipeg, and I say, I would like to rekindle a business relationship with Mr. Proctor. I see you're his agent. Could you contact me so I can purchase some of his materials that he has now? Did I get a call back? No. Now, is that the most amazing thing you have ever seen? I want to buy. I said I want to buy. The guy never emailed me back. Now, I know that in this room there are people here who have had people say, I would like to have a pond, and they never got around to calling me. That's like, oh dear. Right? I know. It's absolutely amazing, right? You know that most people say my contractor never even calls me back. That's a huge problem. Okay, so anyway, I put this intention out. I want to rekindle a business relationship with Bob Proctor. I'm down in Chicago. Greg comes running up to me. Doug, you won't believe it. I just got this greatest new DVD. I want you to watch it. It's The Secret. It's The Secret. Sit up in that big beanball thing up in Aquascape there, and this movie comes on. Who's the first guy that comes on The Secret movie? Bob Proctor. It sent chills up and down my spine. I sent that intention out. 2 weeks later, he's in front of me. Now, there is something to that. There is something to that you really, really, really need to understand. We're going to talk about that in the mental part of this thing. In the physical, here's how my life used to work. I used to be a hockey player. Hockey player is all physical. You know, people in general, they go through these 3 steps of physical, mental, and spiritual. What do you start with? Where do you start as a person? Yeah. Where do you hope to end up? If you're lucky. Now the trick is to get into the spiritual really quick, but we're not built that way. Unless you huge problems and calamities and disaster arrive in your life, you may be forced into the spiritual right away. But usually it's not that way. So if you're a young person and you're just thinking you're in the physical, that's okay, because that's where you should be. The trick in life is to move through them as fast as possible. Don't be like your dad, your mom, your uncle, your brother, your boss. You don't have to be. If you want to be different, you can be that way. When I was in the physical, it was all about, in hockey, what they tell you is, you do what we say. It's all the same in physical sports. If I tell you to run through that wall, literally, I want you to run through that wall. Now, if you understand what it's like to be a professional athlete, that is what you do. Don't go into the mental side of things and start going, oh, I don't know, that wall looks pretty tough, I think I could hurt myself if I do that. No. No, that's not the way it works. That is not the way it can work for that type of thing. Think, in some ways, the armed forces. It can't be any other way than that. That's what it's got to be. It's a physical thing. It's a very dangerous place at some times, and everybody's got to be on the same page. So that's where I started, in the physical. Now, the physical is like Steve talks about. Did you see all those addictions that Steve put down? All the way down, okay? I mean, man, people, if you've got a problem with alcohol, do something about it. Personally speaking, 30 years ago, I realized I cannot drink. There's just no way. I'm different than you. I'm allergic. I had to quit that, and I did that. That was an enormous decision in my life. That has become a cornerstone of my success. Now, in this seminar, there's a few things I'm going to say that could be the cornerstone for you. I don't know what they are. You will know them when you hear them. It'll be resonating deep inside you. And then if you do something about it, you'll be on your way. And if you don't, well, you will struggle. Okay? So for God's sakes, if you're hooked up on drugs, get off. That's not a good idea. If you're hooked up to this, that, the other thing that happens on the internet, don't do that, Get on with it. You know deep inside where you should be. I would like this to be interactive. If you want any questions on the physical part of things? No. Okay. There they are, wrestling away, right? Bashing. People think this is what life's all about, battling away. Now, the game of life is played from the shoulders up. Got it? The game of life is played from the shoulders up. This is where it is. Now, you got to move up to this real fast. That's the whole point of things. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit here about some things that are going to be hard to accept. And I'll just segue into this one thing. When I studied Bob Proctor, there was a thing called the vacuum law of prosperity. Has anybody ever heard of the vacuum law of prosperity? Yeah, Becky loves it. Okay, here's what it is in short terms. Nature abhors a vacuum. In nature, there can be no such thing as a vacuum. You know how you create an atomic bomb? You create a vacuum. That's an unnatural thing. The power that occurs from unnaturally creating a vacuum is how an atomic bomb is done. Okay, so here's how it works. If you want to entertain another idea today, there's a very good chance that you're going to have to move an old idea out of your mind. Does that make sense to you? If you are always getting the same results, right, and doing the same stuff, that's the definition of insanity. You're expecting things to change, but they're not. Well, now I have a solution for you. You must move that old idea out so that a new idea can come in. Now, some people are thinking, holy smokes, I ain't got any more ideas. So if I move the old idea out, I'll have nothing. No. If you move the old idea out like that, am I moving that back and forth? Got a roll this side there? you move the old idea out, a new idea will come in. I'll prove it to you. Now this is the one that Becky likes. Ladies, examine your clothes closet. Men, think of all the stuff that you have. You don't have any room for more stuff in your closet, do you? Is your closet full?
Mine, no.
Oh, why not? You're different. Most people have a closet full of clothes. You know, you gotta push the hangers away to get another thing in there, right? Now, if you would like new clothes, what would you do now that you understand the vacuum law of prosperity? Jack's got it. You would take some of the stuff that you never wear, that is too small, too large, not the right color, not the right type of style, and you would take it out of the cupboard and you would give it to someone else, thereby creating the room in your closet for new clothes to appear. Yes? Yes, don't sell the clothes. Because if you sell the clothes, like in a yard sale, your reward will be the amount you get for the clothes, which will not be that great, will it? I mean, shitty old clothes you haven't worn forever. They're not worth anything. But for a person who has no clothes, that'll be a huge thing. And you will be compensated accordingly. So I go to the seminar, 1989, and I'm on fire. I come home and I said to Judy, you know why we got a couple of crappy cars in the yard? Why? Because there's no room for a new car. What a wonderful woman. She's like, okay. I said, you know what we got to do? What? Give a car away. We got to give one of these cars away. Now your sister doesn't have a car. She's in trouble, you know? She's got nothing. We are going to give her our car. Then we are going to make the space in the driveway for the brand new 1989 Jeep Cherokee that I would like to drive. What do you think? And she goes, well, okay. What then do you think?
Wow. You put me on the spot there. I think what Doug was saying in the beginning, you know, we're a partnership, and so I really had faith in, you know, I know him as a person, so I had faith in his ideas, his newfound, what do we call it?
Insanity.
So I said, sure, let's give it a go. And it was all backed up with positive things. I think that's really important too. I think to move forward in any direction, it won't happen unless it's a positive. Moving forward on a negative just never works, and often I think that's what we do. So I felt this to be a positive direction, and I said, well, let's give it a go.
So the thing is, I'm not hooked on to a salary. You know, I don't just get the same amount of money. That would be a drag. Now, a lot of you think, no, that's a good thing. I get my pay and all this. Yeah, that's until the factory closes and they take your butt and throw it out on the street. I'm in sales at that point. I am selling life insurance. Now, you could say, that is a laugh. You go, oh. No, that's not right. When you're in life insurance sales, you have the potential to make millions. You also have the potential to make nothing. But if you're thinking the glass full, you have the potential to make millions. I say to myself, how much are these things? Well, they're $28,000 or something like that. Huge amount of money. But I'm thinking, hey, you break that down, you finance it over 4 years, it's $400 a month. I said to myself, all I have to do is sell one more policy a week. Just one. And I can drive that brand new Jeep Cherokee. So I did it. I said to Judy's sister, you don't have a car, Liz. Here, you can have this one, or I'm going to go that side of your alleyway. And I went out and I bought that brand new 1989 Jeep Cherokee. I haven't driven crappy cars since then. I don't do that anymore. Okay? Now I think the way that I should have done it was sell a $28,000 of insurance and pay cash for it. But I didn't do that. I was too much in a hurry. Okay? And I sold that extra policy. for that truck, and we bought another one, we bought another one, we bought another one. Now, a sidebar issue this was, my sister-in-law took the car and 3 days later sold it for $1,400. What? Judy and I said, once something's given, it's given. And we went forward. That is the vacuum law of prosperity. If you, today, are going to move forward, you are going to have to move some old ideas and some things out. You must have the faith to do it first, not knowing what's going to happen. Now, don't go get in a bunch of debt or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. It's as simple as, I'm not going to think this way anymore, I'm going to think this way. I'm not going to talk this way anymore, I'm going to talk this way. I'm not going to believe this anymore, I'm going to believe this. That's all it is. And that, my friend, can make an enormous difference in your life. Okay. Now the second law that I heard, any questions on that? You know what, Judy?
I get fired because I've been working there too long. It seems weird.
Maybe it'll be the best thing to be a partner, you never know. Okay, the next law is the law of vibration. Now, who's heard of this one? The law of vibration. Everything is vibrating. Good vibrations. This table is vibrating. These glasses are vibrating. Oh, I want to just tell you, I don't really need these glasses. I just think I look really cool when I have them on. I'm looking down like this, but it's really just a prop for me. Vibration is everything. When you take everything in the universe and science boils it right down, what are they left with? Something that is vibrating. That's the smallest thing. So you have to understand, we are all vibrating. Everything is an illusion of steady. It's not. Now, thought is one of the fastest vibrating things that there is. Now, in your handouts, you're going to see there's a poem on thought. I hold that thoughts are things. We'll go over later. You must understand that thoughts are things. You have to get in touch with how you're thinking. This is mentally. Who is this guy anyway? The thinker. That's the statue of the thinker. Okay? There's another quote. I don't know if I put it in there or not. Most people don't think a lot, and when they do, only at rare times. Now that's most of them. We're physically, go all the time. We're still in the physical realm, not thinking of anything. So if we start to think, we must get in touch with our thoughts. All right? Don't listen to too much news. Remember the wimpification of America and Canada and everywhere else in the world. Don't let them scare the crap out of you. Fear, all that kind of stuff. Get in touch with your thoughts. Now, most people, when it comes to thought, think in reverse. This is a heavy concept. Most people look at something, a result, and they go, okay, I see it, and then they put the thoughts around what has happened. Sales. Okay? You're looking at the sale goal, and you look at 1 million, and you start to think, I don't think that's going to happen. And all things in life start to come together to say, I guess Steve doesn't want that to happen. It's a very, very powerful principle. Now, when you think in reverse, that's what you do. Now, Steve is not thinking in reverse. He is looking forward at the completion of the goal the way he wants it. And what is one thing that he did to bring it even more physically into play? The bottles. Okay, he's got the bottles there so that he can see the end result already. He can see success in the future. When I used to go to Actresscape, in the old building, I used to see the new building in miniature. Remember that little miniature one? And I know that Greg sat there every day and could see it in his mind. And now, it is in physical form. Okay? When you're thinking in reverse, you look at something, you go, oh, that's not good, and that. When you think correctly, you think of something that you want to have happen, you start to put the things in place that will make it happen. That's thinking correctly. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? That's goal setting. So you think about your goal, and then you start to concentrate on the goal. Now, if you want to supercharge your thoughts, you trick yourself into feeling like you already have your goal accomplished. That's how can you imagine how the guys are going to feel as we're sipping that wonderful reward? That will supercharge your thoughts. Now, many years ago, I proved it to myself in physical form when I was in the insurance business. They told me that if I wanted to double my sales, all I had to do was get up in the morning and write down in physical form, I am so happy now that. Now write that down, because you'll what did he say? Was it I am excited? I am so happy now that I have, and then whatever it is you wanted. Well, I wanted to double my sales. So I would wake up in the morning and I would write, I used to sell about $2,000 of new insurance every month. And in this particular campaign month, I wanted to double it to 4. I had never done that. That's like waking up in this morning and saying, this year we're going to double pond sales. Or pick a certain time when you really sell a lot and you say, in that month, we're going to double what we did last year. That's what I was thinking. So I wake up, I am so happy now that I have accomplished my goal of selling $4,000 of life insurance in the month of October. This has totally annihilated all my bills. Judy is so happy. Now we can have the things that we really want. She thinks this is tremendous. And I wrote down all these positive things, and out the door I went. In the evening, back home, it didn't matter what happened. That's the key. It didn't matter what happened. Sell something, not sell something. In the evening I came back. I am so happy now that I have sold $4,000 life insurance this month. And they said to do this for 30 days. You know what happened? 21 days later, I sold a policy that got me the $5,000 of sales for that month. It didn't even take 30 days. Why do you think this is the truth? Anyone want to take a guess at it? It's the routine of writing, yes, but it's crystallizing in time, setting it in, putting brackets around it. What else? It was a huge, correct, setting an intention. I think the last one is focus. I just don't think we focus long enough on a goal to make it happen with energy. Because you know, and if any of you want to try this, I mean, it's tough to do anything for 30 straight days. You know, 30 straight days, boing, boing, boing. It takes 21 days to create a habit. If you do something for 21 days, you'll start to do it without even thinking about it anymore. It's ingrained in you. It's a habit. It takes 21 days. How many people do you think really do 21 straight days of something? Not many. I'm telling you. Not many. You know what it probably is? Judy and I always talk about the Pareto. Does anybody know what the Pareto principle is? 80-20. Heard that one? That is called the Pareto principle. I would tell you that probably the only percentage of people that can actually do that are the 20% in the Pareto principle. 20% of people in a sales force will sell 80% of the products. 20% of Aquascape's customers, probably many of you who are here, sell 80% of the products of Aquascape. And then 80% of people are wandering around trying to figure out what the hell it's all about. Your goal is to become one of the 20%. Now, if you become one of the 20%, and then your next goal is to become 20% of the 20%, what does that make you?
1%.
It makes you one of the 4%. okay? Makes you more than rich. Makes you never, ever, ever, ever worry about anything financial again, and anything else probably if you want to think about it. So that's the goal of life, become one of the 20, and then become one of the 20 of the 20. Who do you think of that are people who are 20 of the 20? Bill Gates, Google guys, you know? These are who they are. Alright? So the law, you have to understand the law of vibration, and then its sister discipline, the law of attraction. Because when you start to vibrate positively, who wants to be around you? Well, everybody, right? Yes. When you vibrate positively, everybody wants to be around you, even the people who are vibrating negatively. Now, what's the problem with people who are vibrating negatively?
I want to be around them.
Yeah, they bring you down. And so in your lives, you have to be very careful of the people vibrating negatively. And it's a very good mental exercise to be able to recognize them. Now, how does that transfer to customers? Have you ever got in front of a really negative customer and you're trying your darndest to sell them? How does it work? Like it's a drag. You're trying to pull them positive, you know? Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Oh, I heard about algae. No, don't worry about that. You're going to have some fish in there. I hear they all die in the winter. No, it's just like, You know what I mean? I mean, I get these people I build a pond for, and I don't know why the hell they took the damn thing. Really and truly. And I have the conversation. They're like nitpickers, I call them. They're all over the pond all the time, you know. I tell them my father-in-law who's 78, he doesn't do anything. The pond's perfect all the time. But he's in a very high spiritual condition. Well, that's a kind of a thing I just said there, right? And that's why his pond stays good, because it's in a high spiritual condition. Believe it or not. The people who are not there, I just give them the top. And I say, Jay, here's the thing. This pond can be the most wonderful thing that you have ever done in your whole life. It will create peace and enjoyment and fulfillment for you, if you wish. Or, this will be the worst thing you've ever done. And it's going to drive you up the wall. Because, Jay, Mother Nature doesn't care. Mother Nature doesn't care about how you feel. And if you want to drive yourself nuts trying to take care of this pond, go ahead. Right? But it's very, very good. Now, once you build yourself up to a point where you have that customer in front of you, you can actually start saying that. This will be great or this will be bad. So they're all built the same way. People treat them differently. It's the people that are the problem. Might not want to go there. Okay, so the law of vibration. So you are going to vibrate and then attract to you. That's what happened with the sales of, $5,000. I'd be walking down the road, and I look up and I see somebody and I go, "Hey, Joe, how's it going?" Joe will go, "Fine. How are you, Doug?" "I'm fine." "What are you doing these days, Doug?" "Well, I sell life insurance." Joe will go, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. I just had my third child. I've been thinking about getting some insurance." That happened so often. It was scary, eerie at that time in my life. Now, when a wonderful customer plops themselves down in front of me, I just know what's happened. I have attracted them to me. I have literally attracted them to me. Judy and I have done that. We built ourselves up like that. Okay? So that's the goal, right? Is to move in that direction. That you are what? My boss used to tell me, even if you have insurance, even if you have nothing to do, even if you're like nowhere to go, no business, walk fast, he'd say. You always see me in town, walking fast. Because everybody would say, "What about Doug Harvey?" Look at that guy. Young fella. He's a success. Remember, it's an illusion, right? If they knew my bank account and how scared I was about selling, but they would call me and say, "Young man, I've heard that you're in the insurance business now." Yeah, I am." "Well, I've got a few investments. I think maybe I'd like to talk to you. You come over. I see you're looking busy. I like the way you look. As opposed to, oh, good Lord. What are my thoughts? Bankruptcy's around the corner. Right? So, man, you got to get in touch with this stuff. You got to grab on and build that good mental attitude. Any questions on that? Okay. In the spiritual realm, sometimes the spirit will come walking right into this room. It's not a blasphemous thing to say. You know, we all feel good, and we're happy, and we're joyous, and we're free. That is spirit, and it just walked right in here. What's the opposite of that? Well, we all know exactly what the opposite is. Okay? That's what spirit is. So what we need to do is we need to start working in that direction. And like when I studied this with John Savage, the great insurance mentor that I had, he used to preface it by saying, I'm not trying to sell you Jesus here. And I'm not doing that. But I am telling you that if you think that you are the power, you are vastly mistaken. Okay? That's what you need to take away. If you think you are the power, you are going to struggle in life. Now, if your life works really, really well, you may get away with it. But if your life turns down and gets tough, and economic times occur, and you find yourself believing the whippification of North America, you will get yourself into a place where spirit will be the only salvation for you. I hope that never happens, but in some ways, that is the best thing that can happen to you and for you. Those of you that have children, as they go ahead, you know, it's a tough thing in life, but as your children go out, sometimes the hardest it gets for them, the better it is. It's a hard principle to understand. But the harder it is for them, the better. Or, you know, like I do, you can just step in and give them some money. Here, you know, I don't want you to have to suffer the way I did here. That's the wrong thing to do. Hey, Judy, that's where we really differ on that one there. But I know that spirit will hold them and bring them forward. Okay, so get yourself in some kind of a church, what I'm saying, and give them some kind, or if you don't go to church, give them some way of understanding that they are not the power. So that's a basis of spirituality. After that, they can start to understand that there is tremendous power in spirit. You see, like Werner von Braun, he is the man who created the space program in the United States. Now you would think a scientist would not be a spiritual person. Oh no, he was an extremely spiritual person. All right? That's why he was such a powerful individual. Had a little bit of a checkered past if you want to check into it. We'll leave that behind. Anyway, when you are involved with a huge situation, a monstrous goal, a problem at home, you need to understand that you can tap into this spiritual wellspring of good. That's what I'm saying about the spiritual part of things. You need to understand that it's there. Here's a little story. There's this little couple. They live way up in the mountains. We're very, very remote. Like Canada, let's say. But it's not too, okay? They're way, way up in the mountains. They have no power. They don't even realize that the power has been plowed in front of their home. Years and years before. The power's right there. A salesman comes along and he says, you don't have to live with candles anymore. You have power here. And he said, what? No, you have electricity. So the salesman, very, very long ago, sold them little lamps with one See, their concept of the power was this. This is all they thought it was. But the power was always there to do this. And this is spirit. You understand what I'm telling you? You are plugging ideas, maybe into spirit, that are just little ones. But you can plug a monstrous idea in there. You can plug an enormous idea in there, because all the power in the world, in the universe, is there. It's just us that don't plug in a big enough idea. Now, why do we do that? Because we don't believe. We hold it back. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about spirit is this. The thing, and if you get anything from this whole spirit thing, the thing that blocks spirit is ego. Ego. You gotta have a bit of ego, because you can't just like fall apart. But false ego is the thing that says to you, that whispers in your ear, I am my bank account. I am the job that I do, the people that I tell what to do. I am the house that I live in. I am the clothes that I wear. This is who I am. Not true. Not true at all. That is that little voice of ego whispering in your ear, telling you a lot. Okay? The problem with ego is that when you are in ego, you cannot be in spirit. It's like you're on the old hydro. When you are in too much false ego, your spiritual power cuts off. The greatest challenge for me in life is to not be in ego. Now, Steve Shimholzer is not an ego. It's like he said, some people kind of confuse what he's all about and all this, but he's not an ego. He doesn't know what he's not in, but you're not an ego, okay? You got it? Okay, he's there, right? Now, we all can go back and forth, can't we? We can slip into ego like this. Why do people buy from us? Do they buy from us because we're in ego? Hey, I'm going to tell you what this is how it should be done. I've been selling a long time. No. It's the spirit shining through us that people buy. It's the light in your eyes. It makes it so easy. It makes it so easy. 25 years ago, when I used to see all these guys, they were giants in the industry. Giants. I saw lots and lots of life insurance guys that were making $2, $3, $4 million a year 25, 30 years ago. It was important to me how much money they were making. I was gauging people in that respect back then. Okay? And you would look at them, they were spiritual entities. They were like spiritual, glowing people on the stage. Have you seen some of them? Great performers, musicians, the monstrous ones are spiritual entities. It's an amazing thing to witness. And then most of us are like, we're not really quite there. We're just like, I really like that person. No, we like it. That's what it is. So that's your goal, okay? Moving towards spirit. Any questions on that? One last thing, the hardest thing to do is to surrender. I mean, like if you're still physical, if you're in the physical realm, is surrender part of your vocabulary? Like, you're a young person, surrender? I don't think so. You know, especially if you're from a physical background, there is no such thing as surrender. But the paradox of life is that the only victory, a real big victory in life, is to surrender. Right? Okay. Now, hey, remember that one, Jack, Charlie? I'll just spend a little bit of time talking about our business. Oh, Judy, you started this, and it's why don't you come up and say how you started it. You'll digress.
Yeah, I was ready for that when we started. I was thinking a little bit about what Steve had to say yesterday. It made me think of the start of our business. And for me, when I look back and think about how it went, in my life and how the choices that I made came about, I realized that I was really a dreamer. I talk more and more about that now, because I think we dream a lot when we're young, and then as we get a little bit older, I think our dreaming gets less and less. And so I came from a tough place. I think that's important too, because Doug was talking about, you know, how sometimes things, life gets us, and you know, we learn a great deal from the sometimes misfortunes that happen in our life. So I had a little bit of a tough upbringing, but I see it as a blessing because it really gave me opportunity to dream and to think about where I could go. And Steve talked about, you know, being paid that first paycheck. And, you know, I had a dream, and I really focused on it. When Doug and I got married, that was my first dream of finding a wonderful man. Then we had 3 children. And I always loved business, and that was kind of a thing my dad had instilled in us. He was a dreamer too. So I kind of hung on to that, and then I thought, you know, to fulfill my idea of what I wanted in my life, I really wanted to have a business, but I had never thought of landscaping or anything like that. I always studied design, and in figure skating I was a choreographer, so that was kind of the side of things I liked. And once we built our home, I realized that I really loved landscaping, but the design side of it. So then we started landscaping our house. And it's funny how things go. You know, we often don't really know how we're going to get to where we want to go. And I think that is really important to remember. We don't have the real direction or the steps of how we're going to get there, but we have to remember where we want to get to. And so after building our house, I realized I like landscaping. And we had our last child, Samantha, was born, and I thought, I'm going to start a landscaping business. As soon as she was born, I said, I'm going to start it now. By the time she's in school, it will have grown to a place where I can dedicate more time, and I'll have more time. And that's just what I did. And I met lots of great people along the way. You know, people who just say things that you can do it. You know, think about what you want to do, you can do it. And I really held that, and I kept thinking about that. I kept reading wonderful books. Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. I implemented all these things in my life, and Doug laughs because he says, Judy used to go around saying she has a landscaping business. And I did, but I didn't have a customer. So you know, when people ask me now how did it work, I find have to go directly to it, start your business, get it going, and then do the other things that come. So many people that we sit down with want to, well, first I'm going to get my business card, I want to get a truck, I want to letter it. We did not have a truck. We did not have a business card. We had nothing.
Still don't have a business card.
Yeah.
No, I've not printed.
Yeah, so the first customer we had was actually a wealthy couple in our town. And I was talking to her about my business. And I said, oh, there's these new trends in landscaping, you can do this and that. And doesn't she build a house and call us up to do the landscaping? I was like, you kind of do the landscaping? Yeah. I drew this up, drew the design, and gave her a price. She compared it with another company in town. And that was our first job. Hired Doug.
Our price was a lot less because we didn't value ourselves that much. I just looked at it and went, yeah, let's get these people.
I hired Doug, hired the neighbor, and we borrowed one of our friends' trucks.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, that lesson, I have to remember for myself, moving forward, you know, making new goals, and not thinking that I need all the equation before I move to where, you know, my next direction is. And I still go back to dreaming. You know, we have to keep dreaming because our dreams are our own creation. Nobody else can create whatever we think about or dream about. It's our thought, it's our link perhaps to spirit or to energy or whatever it is that you want to have as a higher power in your life. So that was the beginning for us. And then we used to, Doug is really he's an outdoorsman, has a real true passion for outdoors. He walks every day in the bush, loves animals, and knew all the trees and bushes and things like that. I didn't grow up. I grew up in suburbia, didn't know a pine from a spruce. And so the two of us, on the side of how things look in the end, you know, so that's why I like design, I like graphics and things like that. And he loves to be with nature, and Doug was the one that really brought ponds into the landscaping business. He used to, you know, dig these little holes and fill them with water. And there was we couldn't even get black liner when we started. We used to get real pool liner and then cover it with a black tarp so that you have nice, cool red blue water. And until we came face to face with the aquascape product, so that really changed our business model, and it grew from there. But that was really the start. Doug left the insurance business at that time and joined me.
The rest is history. I used to flood the road when I was a kid. In the winter time, and then the spring would come and all the water would be running all over the place. I was the kid that had the entire road, had 2 feet of water in it. And then the cars would come by and smash through all my dams and rebuild them all. I was meant to be a pond guy from the beginning. It depends on how you start your business. It'll sort of be the character of your business. You know, and when I was listening to all the guys yesterday, I realized that, you know, there's no right way to do your business. I'll do it my way, you'll do it yours. There's no right or wrong way. There's tweaking that can be done, pricing these things. But I remember when we started, I couldn't put a lettering on my truck because I was a life insurance salesman. You can't be a life insurance salesman and work in another business in Canada. You have to be dedicated to be a life insurance agent. So I'm sneaking around landscaping with Judy, you know? So we're getting people by word of mouth. To this day, and I'm not telling you to do this, but to this day, I do not have a name on my truck. To this day, we build more ponds in Canada than anybody in the entire country. So there's not many people there. That's 30 million. And we still don't have a name on the truck. Now, that's a stupid thing to do, right? You would think. But that's me. Steve is Steve, Jack's Jack, Dave's Dave, I'm me. People say to me, oh, for God's sakes, I've been looking for you for 1.5 years now. Why, I say? I want a pond. Wonderful, you found me. I mean, I like that, right? Now you say, I sold that one. Well, I guess, I mean, if you don't sell that one, that's bad. People drive into our yard. We live out in the country. Holy smokes, you know. We've been looking for you guys forever. I tell people, you know, can I come and see you? I go, no. You have to have an appointment. What? No. I thought you had a retail store. Not really. It's by appointment only. I have an appointment? I'm not telling you to tell everybody to get an appointment, but it works for me. You see? Because that's how I set it up because of where I come from. We did $86,000 of landscaping part-time 25 years ago, and my boss said to me, you don't look like you're selling much insurance anymore. And I went, well, I'm trying, you know, I got a few things going, and I looked down at my hands, are all cut and bleeding, and you know, you point out somebody, ooh, I better use my pen, because, you know, you're all smashed from landscaping. And then basically one day, after a few times of telling me you should get going, they let me go. I don't like to call it fired. They discontinued my contract on December the 20th. Merry Christmas. Insurance industry. You know that, Betty. You don't like the insurance industry. Fine. Anyway, I looked over at Judy and I said, well, Jude, we're full-service landscapers now. We all laughed. I thank God we had a few presents bought already. Right? And we went from there. Now, my business, at that time, I would do anything to make $1 because I had to. In the end, we had these 3 crews running around, and I think about 10 or 11 employees. And the final blow for me was when I sent 3 of my best, my champion employees, 35 or 40 miles away in one of my 3 trucks to rake down somebody's lawn. And the little geniuses called me when they got there and said, hey, there's no tools here. And I said, well, don't you think you should have put the tools in the truck when you left? Oh, we never thought of that. Now, I tell you that now, but I was at a point in my life, at that moment, where I just couldn't take it anymore. And I came home to Judy and I said, this is it. We're not doing this anymore. I just want to do these water features. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do landscaping, paving stone, flagstone. I don't want to have them on 3 different sites. 40 miles that way, 100 miles that way, and 50 miles that way, running around causing havoc. And so I, keep it simple guy, I decided that I would just do water features. Fast forward, to today, and that's all we do. Now, here's what I like to work in the pond business. I am a physical guy because I come from that professional background. So I work, not as much as I used to, but I still work in the ponds. Greg's always telling me, get out of there, don't get out of there, you can't get in there. I understand why. It's because if I could get out of there, I could probably build twice as many ponds. That's what Greg wants, right? He wants me out of there and build twice as more and buy some more. But I don't want to do that because I'm having too much fun lifting rocks myself. As funny as that may sound. I love it. I absolutely love it. And so that's why we're capped at $500,000. Now, some of you are probably thinking, oh my God, I would take $500,000 in pond sales. So it just depends on where you are in your life. Some of you are saying, well, it's only $500,000. What it is, you should be selling more than that, all this stuff he's talking about. But you are what you are. So what I want to tell you, I got a great life. Because I'm right there on every site, 50% margin. So do the math. 500,000 in sales. I'm in there too. Jude and I got 80,000 of that, and there's still 250 left. Not a bad way to live, right? And it's simple. It's simple because the next slide is about family, and that was really important to me. I didn't want to become a conglomerate of this or that. Once in a while I think about it, but I don't think I want to do that for me. Now, if you want to go out and, take over the whole Northeast in pond sales and build every pond that's imaginable, that's great. But I think that your family life will pay for it to a degree. This is the problem. You see, the word, what's the word in the middle of all those, physical, mental, spiritual, business, and family? What's the word that's most important? Well, they're all important, but the word is balance. Okay? The key is balance. You have to stay in balance in among the 5 of them. Like, on the spiritual side, my mentors used to say, it's okay to believe in God. You're out in the middle of the ocean. A big storm comes up. Pray to God. But row toward shore. Right? Don't just sit there. That's out of balance. So what happened with me is, I knew as a young man that there was a possibility that if I wanted to, I could get in this pond business where I was and never come home. I loved it so much. I could just go for it. Find reasons to never come home. Till the kids were in bed and, Judy was pulling her hair out. I didn't do that. I knew there had to be balance, and that's extremely important when you think about it. No success in business is worth a failure at home, right? Remember that. You used to say in the insurance business, no success in the field, meaning out there trying to sell, is worth a failure at home. Extremely, extremely important. Now, all of a sudden, this is the most fun. Those little guys, especially one of them, have grown up in the pond business. Now I got 27-year-old Dustin. I mean, what an amazing thing this has been. For some of you guys that have young men coming forward, you're right on the cusp of the most amazing, hair-raising, frustrating time. Is that your son? Good Lord. Okay. No.
He just had a son.
Oh, it's him that's gonna. Okay. Well, it's all. You know what? When you have a child, I want to tell you something. You every single moment of it. You won't do this, but you should. I'm telling you, because like this, they'll be 27 years old. It's incredible how fast it goes. All right, so Dustin and I, he had to come in and work for us, and then I had to say, go away, son, like at 20, started working at 14, all through school and all that, and then at 21 years old, he knew everything, I knew nothing. You guys understand all this that have been a little older. Suddenly Dad knows nothing. We're going to do it this way, Dustin. No, we're not. We're going to do it this way. No, we're not going to do it this way. Yes, we are, Dad. Absolutely not. I'm the boss, get lost, that's all there is to it. That's hard in the family. So finally, after 2 years, when he was working full time, I had to tell him, go work somewhere else, son. You have to work somewhere else. We're going to kill ourselves. Okay? I want to hear the final blow. The final blow is here's Dustin and I'm looking at the excavator. I don't drive anything, right? He drives all the machines and all that, so I'm looking at the excavator coming and I see we got an extension cord going to the pond. So I said to him, we should put some earth on top of that extension cord. He goes, you don't need to do that, the ground is soft. Get the hell out of the way. No, wait. I'm going to put some earth over that extension cord. Okay. So I'm there with that shovel doing this, putting the earth over the extension. Okay, burn forward. And he's coming along, he's got a full bucket of rocks as he's coming like this. It's one of them 161 Kubotas. So for some unknown reason, I decide that there's a little spot underneath there that needs a little bit more dirt. Or there may be a rock on top of the cord. I'm not sure. But I go down underneath there to get this. And for what reason, I'm not sure, the bucket's now over top of my head. Not knowing this, I lift my head up, bang, right there. I thought he'd kill me. I'm like lying there, oh God, I'm not spiritual at this point. And I look up, and I'm like freaking bleeding down through here, right? And I looked at him and I said, what in the hell are you doing? And he starts yelling at me. And I said to him, how can this be my fault? How can this be my fault? He just about killed me. And that's when I realized he has to go somewhere else. Not because he's trying to kill me, no. Because our relationship, it's just not good. So he went away for 2 years. And 3 years ago, you talk about fear of rejection. I went back to him and I said, son, would you like to come back and work for us? I don't think so, Dad. You think it's tough when a customer rejects you. Wait till your son and heir does it. I said, you don't want to come back? No, I don't think so. I'm good one now. Okay. And then the year after, I said, yes, I do. And it's gone well since.
You were a part that.
No. I just stay out of his way. Now he's at the point where he goes, Dad, we got this. You can go now. No, I understand now. No, Dad, you can go. No, I'm just going to stay here. Dad, get lost. You know what? So that's a tough way to go. Family. So that's the thing about family. No success out is worth it. You know what? When I used to see all these big-time insurance guys that had sold tons, ultra successful people in business, you know the one thing that they always regretted? What do you think it is when it comes to family?
They didn't see their son's vision.
Yes. They didn't see their son's baseball game. Without exception, they say, I wish I had spent more time with my children. All right? So balance is the key. You got to find it all in there. It's a really hard balancing act, those 5 things. But when you're going through your life right now, if you take away one thing from this seminar, take away that you got to have balance. When it comes to seminars, the most devastating thing that ever happened to me, the guy who lives in ego as much as anything, I read a statistic that it said that people only take 7% of what you say out of a seminar. I was like, how can this be? They got to be taking 105% when I talk. It was devastating to me. So I know that you're only going to get 7%. Some of you maybe 8, 9, but that's okay. Take one thing, that's what we're saying, right? Take one thing
and go ahead with it. Okay, now, some of you have heard this before. We're going to rip through this really fast. Personality profiling. Has everybody done personality profiling? It's so much fun. You see, everybody fits into one of 4 places.
Everybody says different things.
They say different things about it? You've done a few of them? Where are you on the, like, what are you in the personality thing? Do you know yet? We'll try to figure it out for you today. Okay. So basically, the way, there's all kinds of them, but the one that I really like is one that has colors to it, because I resonate with color. Red, yellow, green, and blue. So we'll start with the red. So who do you know who is a very strong, type A personality? You're a fiery, oh wow, when you're around, you're just like this.
Jack.
Greg Woodstock's a good one. Jack's a good one. Hey, isn't Jack a total red? Was anybody at the build in Pondeminium, in the swamp at the zoo? And remember, did anybody build with Jack? Raise your hand if you build with Jack. Okay, Jack's a guy, okay, that told the Canadian guy who was placing stones, get out of there, and I'm going to replace all those stones the way I want them to be. That's a red. Was that kind of the way it went? Yeah, kind of the way it went.
It's a 3-letter word.
So, if you were to try to sell Jack something, how would you approach that?
Just take his wallet.
Make sure you have 2 big eyes.
This is the way it is. Short and sweet, still not getting much.
Yeah. In the summertime, if you were trying to sell Jack something, like what would his life be like in the summer? It would be hectic, right? So he would be just, like you talk about vibration, he would be vibrating, wouldn't he? So how would you have to be ready to sell him? You better be quick. You had better be on your game. You should come to him and say, here's what I have. I think this is something you should be interested in. He'd probably come back with how much, give him the price, and away we're going. Do you act like that almost?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Red, fiery, type A, business leaders. I love these guys because they buy fast. No fooling around. All right? I sold this guy once. He's a man who used to sell food for a living. He had a $300 million food business in Montreal. Judy and I go to see him, and he sits across the desk from me. Judy's sitting here, I'm sitting here, and it's just like this. He said, how deep does the pond have to be? I said, 2 feet. How long do you suggest? 10 by 5. Just that? Want it larger? I think so. Okay. And it went like, he was just like, I loved it. And after a lot of this, like maybe I would say 15 minutes of this, remember Tom Friedman? He just kind of went, okay, go ahead. It was amazing. But I'm not a red. Like when I'm here and when I'm presenting, I bring up the red in me. Okay? Keep that in mind. I am not a red. A lot of people don't. I'm a blue. I'm an analytical. Now let's just go to that right now. How do you sell an analytical person? Details. See, a blue. Who comes to mind when you think of detailed people? What job types?
Rocket science.
Rocket science. Tell that story, Eddie. Quick.
I went to a consultation. I literally was 3 visits, 10 hours. 3 visits, 10 hours. And by the end of the last consultation, I said, "This is not rocket science." And the wife started cracking up, whispered in my ear, "He's a retired rocket scientist."
So, rocket scientists, engineers,
Pilots.
auditors, accountants. Yeah, they just want so much information. That's me. Okay? Like when we saw Aquascape in Toronto, it was the wildest thing because it was a waterfall coming out of the back of a red Hummer. It was coming out of the back seat of the car. And I walk up to it, almost missing the train. I'm looking going, that is not natural. I'm missing the train.
That was Perry's creativity.
That was Perry, remember? May he rest in peace, eh? Yeah, put it in the back seat of the Hummer, waterfall the thing out, and do a little bit of rocks that'll catch you. I'm looking back going, no. I want to know. Then we're like $2,300, $2,300. Ooh. I don't know about that one, you know. No, I heard about that. You see? So this is the way I am. So when people come to me, I want to know the details. I'm in my mind thinking, you know, how would that furnace work? Like, would that come by here? Why the hell do I worry about that? I'm not a furnace guy, but I go there. Judy gets very angry at that. Very, very frustrated with that. Okay? So that's how those people, you cannot give them enough information. You have to provide them. And when they tell you, I think I want to think about this a bit. We're going to talk about that in a second, about the sales process, but it may be exactly that. That is exactly what they do want to do, is think about it. Get a little more information. Okay. So what about the yellows? The sunshiny, easygoing. Look at the yellow right there. See, you're a yellow probably, you know, isn't he? Yeah, he's smiling away. Yeah, and the guy beside him too, I think. I'm just thinking, I don't know.
Is that me you're talking about?
I know there's Steve, right? He's like yellow-red, probably. Red-yellow. Anyway, these are the people. It's just so much fun to be with them. It's just so much fun. When you're in the interview, they got stuff all around their house. They got snowboards and water skis. They just love life, love life, love life. And if you are that person, if you are them, how long do you think the interview is going to take? 4 hours. They did 4 hours. Why is that? Oh yeah. And because you're that way, you're just having so much fun. And it's wonderful just to bask in that glow. But you gotta sell something, right? You know, they do really want to buy, and you really have the best product and service. You are the best contractor. So at some point in time, you have to push aside your yellow and bring up your what? Your blue? Give them more detail? You're going to bring up your red, and you have to say, oh, this has been a blast, Jay. I've really enjoyed meeting you. I think you have enough information, right? You think you're okay now? Yeah. Well, I think you should decide how much this is going to cost and see if you can get it. How does that sound? So that's what you do. It's as simple as that. Right? Okay, now what about this green? Who comes to mind? Greens are really there aren't a lot of greens. There should be a lot more greens in the world. They are of the earth. Ed Balloon. Seems to me. Is he a green? You know for sure?
I don't know.
Yeah, he could be down in there. He's in it.
Yeah.
But you know, when you think of Ed Balloon, you think of a caring person. Someone who's going to take care of you. Someone who's going to listen to you and try to understand. And these are wonderful people. I think nurses, they should all be green. You know, if you're a red, don't be a nurse unless you want to be the boss of the nurses. But like, you know, don't be pushing people all around as a nurse. That's not right. And so, when you're around these people, they'll ask funny things like, they'll be concerned about how things are going to work in the neighborhood. They'll have concerns that you'll just go, what the hell? No, in your mind. I mean, you won't say it. You know, you'll do that kind of stuff. And that's what the greens are. They'll be concerned, like, does this cause a lot of noise? Is there a lot of noise that maybe my neighbor might not like? Let's say stuff like that. I never like people to call it noise. You know what people call a waterfall noise? That's a red flag for me. You ever find that? It's not noise. sell your way. You're going to want to sell your way. So if you're an analytical, you're going to have a friggin' photo album with this much stuff in it. You're going to walk in there, you're going to have one of those airport things to carry your photos in. If you're an analytical, you're going to have a computer system where you're going to need 15 mega gigs of whatever it's called to like keep all the dumb pictures you got in there. And people are just going to go, whoa, whoa. And you walk in there with that with Jack, what's going to happen, Jack? Okay, right? That's the thing. So you got to be sure where you are. All right. Any questions? Now the easiest way to understand it is the elevator on the right. 4 people are not in the elevator yet. We couldn't find one when they were waiting to get in. But it might work on it. They're waiting to get in the elevator. How are they all going to react? This is audience participation. So you got a red, a blue, a green, and a yellow, all waiting for the elevator doors to open. The red is what? Pushing the button?
The
Thinking if he pushes it more, it'll come back.
The green says, wait, the door's closing, get back.
The green is going, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now, let's make sure everybody's in. Come on now. Are you a green?
She is.
You are. Oh, that's a great girl to have. Yeah, the yellow is talk. Who's the one talking? Yeah, the yellow person is talking. Or hoping somebody will talk, because they're sitting like this, smiling away. Right? So, and then you get in the elevator, what is the red guy do? Now, what's the analytical doing? What's the Doug Harvey guy doing?
Checking weights.
The blue guy, Doug, is standing there like this. Okay, 750. He's looking around. Uh-oh. Mental calculation. I'm waiting 5. She's okay. Him, I'm not sure about him. I'm looking at it going, who made the elevator open? Yeah, how long is this going to keep inspected? Yeah. But you got to remember, okay, now you're thinking, oh, not really a blue, it's situational. You should see me in the summer. I'm as red as fire. I'm not pleasant to be around sometimes in the summer because I can get extremely, extremely red very, very quickly because I have to be because I'm running all this. And then when I'm around people that are yellow, I have to like calm down. Now that's why I bring Judy with me. Yeah, Judy's going to be there. Okay, we're not going to take a break. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
This waterfall, this is really cool. This waterfall is owned by Jacques Demers. Now, for those of you who are hockey people and like the Montreal Canadiens, he's the former coach of the Montreal Canadiens when they won the Stanley Cup in 1993 with Patrick Roy in nets when they won 10 overtime games on their way to win the Stanley Cup. He's one of our customers. The most amazing man you've ever met. It's no wonder he won the Stanley Cup. When you are around him, the vibratory energy that is Jacques Demers lifts you right up. It's absolutely amazing to be around him. That's the goal for all of us, is to become like Jacques Demers. That's the way we want to go, because the guy is ultra successful. He's now a senator in the Canadian Parliament. They wanted him in there. And he used to be like the Don Cherry of the French channel, commenting on the games and all that. He's an amazing, amazing man. But he has no ego. I have to tell this story quickly. One day, I always work on this pond, and then he comes out and scares the jabbers out of me. Like he'll walk out of his house, "Hey, how's it going?" And I look over. Now, he's like a big-time guy. He's a senator. Like in Canada, that's about as high as you can get without being an actual politician.
Wow.
We won't go there. Anyway, I look over and he's shaving. He's just got the towel around him. He he's a 68-year-old guy, and he's standing there with the towel on. And I'm thinking, oh, I better go over and talk to him. And I walk over, Becky, how's it going? Like shaking stuff, you know, this. All I can think of is, I hope the towel doesn't fall off. I just don't want to go there with a senator in the Canadian Parliament and my idol, right? But I don't think he'd even care, because, you know, he's been in, like, the point is, he's got no ego. No ego whatsoever. Wonderful, wonderful man. Okay. So, 10 rules. Judy, do we have time to actually go over these 10 rules?
People better stand up and turn around.
Okay, stand up, give yourself one of these, you know.
Next meeting.
This waterfall was built by my wife, Judy. Yeah. I mean, she didn't actually lift the rocks, but I'm not really a really good waterfall builder. I'm more about, let's get the thing done and get out and make some money. Now, where that comes from is here. When I started with Aquascape, I didn't do the numbers. I should have done the numbers. It would have made me feel a lot better in 1999. I just knew you paid you charged $7,500 and you had to really get out of there fast to make money. And I wasn't sure how much money I was going to make, so I was always really like, right, let's go. And after I realized how much money I was going to make, I had a hard time, and still do, letting go of that. Let's just get out of here. You see? And that's where your creativity suffers. So on this project, I just said to Judy, well, I like Jacques so much, you go ahead and do whatever you want with Dustin. And that's absolutely gorgeous what they were able to accomplish there. Now, Jacques was a guy who said, you talk about a great sales customer. He said, Dougie, you know what, all hockey people add IE to everybody's name. Dougie, Timmy, me and Warren. Dougie, I'll tell you what, I got the price. I'm not really sure how it went from 20,000 to 60,000. This is what he said after. He wanted a little one, we talked and all this, and just got bigger and bigger. But he said, I'll tell you what, we got the price, everything is great. Are you happy, Doug? I said, I'm happy. He said, if there's something you want to do in my project that'll make it really special, just go ahead and do it. I'll pay for it. Now, how often do you have that? I let my wife do it. That was the special thing. Get out of there, Doug. You know?
Did you make 50%?
Yeah, we did. And you know what's funny about it is, like, I'm not, like, he knows me. You know, we are like spiritual entities that look inside each other's eyes, and he knows I'm not going to hurt him. He's a smart guy. But he knows that I need room. Okay? I don't think he would have said that to everybody, but he said, whatever you want to do, you go ahead. So just knocked it out for me. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, I took that later on. You know when people come and do a roof for me? Put the roof on. Roof. What is it? Roof. Put something on the top of my buildings. I had this one young guy, he said, it's $5,000. I thought about that, and I said to the young fellow, are you sure that's enough money? He looked at me, what? I said, that doesn't sound like a lot of money. Now, if you need more money to do a really good job for me, which I want, I will pay you. Are you okay at $5,000? Yes, I'm fine, he said. And you know what? Nobody has ever said, no, actually I'd like $5,500. They don't do that, but do they do a good job for you? Yeah, because they know, well, he's going to pay me. He's willing to pay me more. They relax, creativity skyrockets, and away they go. So there's a monstrous point for you. Don't be worried about that. They'll just knock it out. It'll be absolutely gorgeous. The same with the house painting. I said, $2,500. That doesn't sound like a lot of painting. I guess it was. I don't know. I would like a nice job. You need more money. No, $2,500 is fine. Okay, because I'll give you more if you actually more for a better job. No. That's wonderful. As opposed, what's the opposite of that? Yeah. The opposite of that is the customers that go, oh, no, 10,000, oh, no, I'll give you 8. And you're thinking, oh dear, this is going to be a drag. This is going to be a drag of a person. I may never even get paid. That's not smart, is it? Yeah, be that way. Okay. success. I'm going to go over them really quickly. Glasses on. Okay, you're not all things to all people. Decide on your niche and focus on it. That was me, right? I don't want to do landscaping, this, that, the other thing. Now, I know there's money in it. Some people are set up for it. Some people have foremen that can actually run around and do stuff. For me, no. I want to know what my niche is. It's called water features. Be different. If your competitors are doing it, try not to do as much of that. You know, stand out from the crowd. Now, you know that Judy and I sell together, right? Who doesn't know that? I don't go on any interviews without Judy. I like to be with her. That's why we're almost married 30 years, right? Now, it's fun to be with Judy on some interviews, and we tell people that. You know, you get two people who think the pond should be done a certain way. It can be amazing in front of the customer. Right, Judy? It's hard when you have a fight breaks out among the partners of the company. But is that different than anybody else? Yeah. So people look at that and go, look at these two. This is a lifestyle they're talking about. They live it. They're there. If you're a big, tough guy, and your wife is not too fearful to come with you, bring her. Bring her. Your sales will skyrocket. I know she's probably going to say, I'm not a salesperson. I can't do this. What do most people think a salesperson is? Wrong, wrong, wrong. A great salesperson is not a good talker. What are they? They're a good listener. Your wife is probably a pretty good listener. She can listen to the kids, listen to you. And so she'll probably sit there and go, you're on the wrong track in the interview. And she'll bring you back on the right track. I cannot tell you how powerful that could be if it fits for you. Because you will be so much different than all the other big tough contractors running around trying to sell stuff. You will be nice and soft with your wife with you. Okay? Build a team. Don't hire an employee to fill a position. Well, I think Steve handled that. He's got it down. That's all I need to say there. Time is the most precious commodity. You know, get it done. Stay on track. I want to tell you something. On a very high level, it's not money. It's not money that has the most value. What is it? Time. I'm 56. I got more behind me than forward. Right? I understand the value of time. I've told customers, listen, if it's not something I don't want, if it's something I don't want to do, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I only have so many more ponds to build. If I don't want to build it, I won't. It's as simple as that. Do people resonate to that? They really do. The more you take things away from people, the more they want it. You know, my daughter wanted to go to a soccer game. And I said, I don't want to go to a soccer game. I don't like soccer. I don't understand anything about it. A day later, she said to me, you know what, Dad? You can't go anyway. It's sold out. You can't get in. What? All of a sudden, I thought, I want to be there. There's no room for me? What the hell? It must be popular. I had a vision of me and her sitting there among 50,000 seats empty. You know? Wrong. So take it away from people. You know, don't be like, please buy this. I'm going to starve if you don't. Don't do that. Don't even go close to that. Go the other way. Say thank you. You know, it's amazing now. If everybody is doing the internet, I understand BJ's thing. 1 year, 2 years ago, we sold 7 ponds on the internet. Never happened in our lifetimes. 7 people called us up and said, we saw you on the internet and we'd like to buy something from you. They weren't saying that exactly, but that's what it ended up being. I understand that, but I'm telling you something. If everybody's going on the internet, handwritten note. Very, very powerful, a handwritten note. If they're all running that way, you run this way. Everybody says get in the stock market. What should you do? Get out quickly. Everybody says get out. It's never going to go up. It's done for. The sky's falling. Devastation. Armageddon. That's time to get in. Simple as that. Be consistent. Make sure it has a consistent look. The one that you would like to build. What does it look like? Okay? Now, you don't have to come up with it here, but I suggest that when you go home, You spend, instead of watching TV or doing this or doing that, design it and you're right in front of you. It's the old, I am so happy now that I am building my ultimate water feature. Is it 10 by 10? Is it 100 by 100? Is it a 7-acre lake? Does it have waterfalls here? Does it have waterfalls there? Now, what kind of a person? Who's going to buy that? Now, if it's a big honking pond there, 50 by 50, 20 by 20, you know that there's only certain people that can buy that, not only this way, money-wise, but space-wise, right? What really turns my crank is putting in big waterfalls, big ponds, big streams, big things. In my world, for me personally, it's about selling one. Like, when you got a lot of work and you're doing okay, after a while, please don't take this the wrong way, but you start thinking, I gotta do something else. I gotta try, how come I haven't built a $400,000 pond? How come I haven't, who's a $1 million pond guy? Where do you find a $1 million pond? Who can afford that? So this is exactly where I am right now in my world. I'm thinking about this. Now, just a couple of years back, I started to think, why are all these guys, they're selling these $100,000 projects. Jeez, I don't know why I can't do that. I'm starting to visualize, I think I'd like to do one of those. Bam, 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 $300,000 projects in the last 2 years. Is that incredible? It's incredible. I can't believe it. I said to Judy, you know what? We've done it. Now, Judy, remember when you come up with that hoard of the things you wanted to have? We found it in the storage bin there, right? I can't wait to get home and cut the grass. I absolutely love it. I tell everybody, don't get the one with the steering wheel. That's no good. Get the one like the guys that cut lawns do. They're great. So I got one of these. I don't know what the name of it is, but anyway. So where was I? Oh, yeah. Okay. So here you are, right? Now, please do not take this and just go, oh, that's a nice idea. I'm deadly serious about this. I may even threaten some of you. In this way, I'm going to come up to you someday and go, what does your pond look like? What's your dream pond look like? Now, I shouldn't have said that, because when I say that, I walk around places and act, and everybody's like, oh, here he comes. You're going to ask me that. Please don't do that. But please, get the pond down on paper. Get it physically right in front of you. The size of the waterfall, the size of the stones. And then how I said that powering your dream is by feeling the emotion? Start to feel the emotion of that pond finished, completed. The customer going, my goodness, I can't believe I have this. Because they do that, don't they? But they do it on maybe a little one. And maybe you want to build a bit bigger one. And maybe you want to build a bit. The guy will feel it, and will feel the same way. So you start thinking, okay, there they are, saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can fish largemouth bass in my own pond with my own boat and motor. Getting an idea of it here? Yeah? The kids, they love that water slide that comes in the far end. It's incredible. We can swim in it. I got the most wonderful water feeling. My neighbors are all just gaga over this. You start to feel that. That powers your subconscious mind. All right. So, here's the thing. You're not going to know this person. When you get it in your mind, you may go, where now, which one are you laughing at? The nice girl with the nursing doctor's syndrome? No. Okay. You are the person drinking the beer. It's St. Patty's Day. This fellow over here on the far right is a very wealthy individual. Lives on the estate. You don't know him, but you know that there is a possibility that if the right product was positioned in front of him or her, they would go, wow, I never thought of that. Have you built big waterfalls and streams and ponds for people, and they go, I never thought I could have that? Does that happen to you? You know, there's like 300 million people in the United States of America who are the same. They don't even know what is possible. It's your job as a salesperson marketer to present it to them. Now, is that fellow on the right going to come to a home show? Now, if the pond that you are after is an 8 by 10, 10 by 10, 16 by 10, are they going to come to a home show? Yes. So this is the thing. Depends how big you're thinking, right? This person here is going to take different types of marketing and presentation strategies. This ABC is you know the doctor in the middle and the doctor knows him. So if you have a relationship with the doctor, you are going to have to do an approach to them and say, I have something that I think that person would be extremely interested in. So what's the next step? I think that the easiest thing, the thing that isn't as fearful, is to send them something in the mail. So you have to get their address, you have to find out what the phone number is, you have to do some detective work. Okay, and then you're going to put your ultimate pawn down on a piece of paper. Now, the thing you send in the mail, what must it look like as far as professionalism goes? It's got to be professional. You've got to maybe get some help on this, right? I'm not going to put it together for you because most of you would say, no, I think I do it different, you know, like I'll do it my way, you'll do it your way. But this is the way. If you want to take your business and run, and you want to start to understand all of the things I talked about in the first part, vibration, attraction, if you want to really try it on and make a heck of a lot of money with it, this is one of the things you can do. Okay? Now, when the guy says, yeah, I think I'd like to take a look at that. I'll send my jet for you. That's what you're going to look like, right? You know? My great mentor was Ben Feldman. Anybody ever heard of Ben Feldman? Ben Feldman was the greatest life insurance agent of all time. Known as this. I think he just passed on. And that's something. I mean, if you're going to study somebody, don't study a loser. You know? Study Ben Feldman. That's what I did. Study somebody who studies Steve Shinholder, a guy getting it done, doing $1 million a year. That's who you study. Don't study the guy down the street and get all caught up in the crapola that he's talking about all the time. Move forward. Ben Feldman sold insurance just like this. Don't think that if it's insurance, it can't be ponds. Absolutely not. Selling is selling. No difference. Doesn't matter the product or service. Selling is selling. Now, what he used to do, I'll tell you the story. You've got a guy, Walt Disney died. When Walt Disney died, he owed $50 million to the United States government in estate taxes. Long time ago. Big, big money. Ben Feldman said, I wonder who's bigger than Walt Disney. And he found a guy, a real estate developer. And he got a call, he found a lot out about the guy. Knew the guy more than the guy knew himself. Got a Dun & Bradstreet or all his businesses, knew how much money he had, how much he owed, who he owed it to, everything. And then he made a call. And he said to the guy, would you like to know what happened to Walt Disney's estate upon his death? Now this guy wanted to know because that was a concern of his, right? Mr. Homeowner, would you like to know how to reconnect your children with nature? Now if the guy is concerned about his kids playing too much time on the internet, isn't that a great question? Now why can't we do this in the pond business? There's people in here can absolutely do this. You can do this. Now you're saying, oh no, I don't think so. You haven't been listening. You haven't been listening. You can do this. But you gotta set your goal, see it forward, and then you gotta put the things behind it. Like Judy, I'm a landscaper. I haven't done anything. No, I'm a landscaper. I'm gonna be a landscaper. So all of a sudden, that went out. A few months later, a person said, hey Doug, I heard you and Judy do landscaping. I was floored. I said, yes. Yes. And we started. Okay? So that's an amazing exercise, isn't it? Amazing, amazing exercise. You want to take the whole thing to another level. Now the thing here is, I'm going to say one more thing and then we're going to move on. Do not just decide, oh, I'm so excited what Doug said, I'm just going to do big ponds. Do not do that. In the insurance business, what used to happen is people would sell mom and pops, sell mom and pops, and they had a good business going, and then they decide, I'm going to be a group insurance salesperson. I just want to sell big cases. I want to sell Aquascape. They've got 100 employees. I want to sell them. I don't want to sell mom and pop anymore. So they'd run over there and they'd lose the whole business, right? Because they forgot where they came from. So it's evolution, not revolution. Got it? You evolve over there. Give it a try. Send out a few things. See what happens. All right? Any questions on that?
It all works. I'll send for you my check.
You'll send me what?
I'll send for you my check.
I would say one thing. You get a really, really big case, you could send for me to sell it. I would do that. Judy and I would do that. For you. You'd have to pay, but
Have you ever not sold a pond?
oh, what do you mean?
I mean, do you ever have your vision and someone just wasn't?
Five. No, not that much. Probably might miss 5 out of 25. But they're like sold already. They're referred leads. They're this or that. Now the thing is when I get a thing off of BJ's internet, person says like, hey, I think I'd like to maybe get some information from you. I start that right from the beginning. I start to tell people, oh, okay, thank you very much for your interest. You kind of email back and forth. This is a whole new world for me. Why are people emailing back and forth instead of just calling you? Why are they doing this?
It's easier to say it in an email than it is to say it to somebody's face or to their ear.
Well, why is it? What are they worried about?
You'll sell.
Yeah, they don't want you to put a sell on them, right? They're like worried. I mean, yeah, just before we came here, this guy calls up and he's telling me that I got to spend a bunch of money to get my internet going, and I'm like, I could do that. She's always worried about me. And I'm like, oh yeah? But I don't make any of these decisions, so I said to Judy, like, what do you think? I hang up, no, I'm sorry, I don't think I need that. And I hung up and I said to Judy, what do you think that is? And they say our internet's it's not good, and this should be changed, and that should be changed. And you think that's true? And Judy goes, I don't know. And then he said to me, I just don't trust anybody anymore. And she said that. I wrote it down. Oh my goodness. I just don't trust anybody. And now that is our world, right? It's too bad, but that's our world. So that's why they email back and forth, because it's anonymous. Well, I see these coming in, and I go, okay, this is going to take about a month and a half to finally meet a person. And I try to, tell them I'm a good person back and forth somehow. That's the whole goal, right? And then all of a sudden, one lady said, can I have 6 of your pond people's addresses so I can visit their pond? That's never happened in our life. Never had to give a referral. All of a sudden, the internet thing happens 2 years ago. Give the girl 6 things. She runs around, sees them all. Went to see her. I had to start right from the beginning. Now, I said to her, now, do you understand who we are as a pond builder? Not really. I saw your internet site. I said, may I just take a moment and explain to you who we are? Right? And then I would like to know a little bit more about you, your husband, and what you want to do here. Now, why do you have to do that? Because they don't know who you are. And, when they see our address, Judy and I say to Jane, Ontario, that's a town of, I always say 200 people. Judy says there's 500, but I don't know what the 300 people are. It's like a really small town. I'm telling you, it ain't like that, right? So that's the beginning. You have to start there. Now, if someone calls me up and says, Doug, I know those pond tours that you did, and I went to see Valerie's Pond. I absolutely love it. That is exactly what I want. I'd like you to come out and visit us. When can you have time to do that? Valerie's one of my best friends. Now, what's that all about? You don't really have to take that much time to explain who you are. They already know who you are. They already know how much Valerie's Pond costs, probably. So there's no price shock there when you give that price. Now that is called an unsolicited referral. That is the holy grail of marketing. People call that word of mouth. An unsolicited referral is worth its weight in gold. If I could get 25 unsolicited referrals, I would sell 25 homes. Yeah, okay? So that's where you want to get to. But they're not always that strong. Now, I want you to write down, like, this is what we're going to be talking about, going here, and then let's just talk about very, very quickly the process of selling. I want you to write these things down. The beginning of a sale is called connecting. Like, let's just keep it simple. So when you're in the sale to start, you're just connecting with the people. A lot of people call that building rapport, but it's just, you're connecting with the customer. That's just the first part. If it's going to be an hour-and-a-half session, man, that shouldn't be more than about 10, 15 minutes. But it's got to be a good 10 or 15 minutes where you like them, they like you, you go over their house, you say, geez, you have that lovely dog, I had that dog at home, whatever. All those, that's, now I cannot go through all this with you. I want you to write down the name of Jeffrey Gittimer. Jeffrey. Many of you have already heard this. Jeffrey Gittimer, Gittomer. Jeffrey Gittimer, in my mind, is the #1 sales trainer working in the United States right now. I've seen him personally. The guy's amazing. If you ever get to see Jeffrey Gittimer personally, do it. But you can go on YouTube now. I don't know how to do all this stuff, but Judy was on it this morning, and there's Jeffrey Gittimer, like, giving me a seminar right there. It's gold. This is like, it's called the dog and pony show. This is what this is, what I'm doing right now. I always used to pull up my heart that I would leave and not give you the nuts and bolts, the blocking and tackling, as Greg used to say, of how to sell. Well, Jeffrey Gittimer will give it to you. Buy the Sales Bible. That's his biggest book. And then little books after that. Okay? So after you're connecting, you're going to go to conversing. So conversing in the selling thing is where there's information going back and forth. Try not to talk as much as you listen. Now the most important thing in conversing is questions. You have to be able to ask good questions that bring a response out of the person that allows you to understand what they really want as far as this water feature goes. And your wife will tell you. Won't she? Because she loves you. And she wants a new fur coat. with the extra sales you're going to make, because she tells you, you talk all the time. You interrupt the customer constantly. Do you not know you're doing that? No, I don't do that. Yes, you do. Bring somebody that loves you with you. Just say, I brought along a person, part of our big team we have, and we're just, be here together. All right. And then they will critique you correctly. They will critique you correctly. Sometimes when Judy and I are selling, I don't have to do all the talking. I love that because I'm actually, my personality type is called observer. I'm like red, blue, but more towards blue. And that type in the red, green, blue thing is called observer. That's what I really am. You'll see me just like looking around when I'm all by myself. Okay? And when Judy's talking, the new water plants, I'm watching the customers. I'm watching for this. I'm watching for a guy pulling back. I'm watching for people disconnecting. I'm watching for everything. That's extremely. That's why we go together. Because there's two of us. I don't have to do all the talking. Now, when you're nervous, what are you going to do? When you're nervous, you're going to talk. So you really, you got to just do it to get better at it. And then you're going to calm down, and you're going to say, this is the greatest product. These are nice people. You're going to be calm. You're going to listen. You go back and forth, and the sale is going to go ahead. Now, after you've got the information that you think, this one called convincing is not about convincing them to buy it. It's more softer than that. It's convincing them that you are the best builder, convincing them that you can be trusted, convincing them that you have listened and they really really feel that you understand what they're talking about and what they want, it's convincing them of those things. Okay? It's the soft part of it. There's no hard selling anymore. People do not like that. And when you do it correctly, and someone says, did he sell you a pond, what will they say? No, I bought one. People like to buy, they don't like to be sold. But it's such a funny dynamic because they are being sold, let's face it, but they don't want to feel that way. Right? So you get this questioning and answering, go back and forth, and then you bring out what you want. You must have some questions. Yep.
You actually still use a video?
Send out a video in advance? No. Do I send out a video in advance? No. You can just get it on YouTube, right? Now, having said that, it kind of depends on the size of the water feature. Like, let's say it's $50,000. Well, the first thing that happens is I tell people, like I know if that's what they want, I'll say to them, you should come to my house. I'm quite strong on this. I come to your house? Yes. I'd like you to come to my home, and I would like you to show you, I'm going to show you our operation. I'd like to show you where we work from, and then I would like to take you on a personal tour of 2 or 3 ponds that we are doing. That's a long pause, isn't it? Go ahead.
So when you were starting out, you didn't have people referring someone. How did you find the people who wanted ponds?
Well, we did home shows. Yeah, we did home shows. And we stopped kind of doing them like a couple of years ago, but we used to do what I call Ponding 101 seminars. And I'll talk a little bit about that now. You know when I ask people, are there any questions? You see how long I will wait? You must do that. If you're doing a seminar and you have 10 or 12 people in front of you and you say, are there any questions? Okay, none? And you continue. What does that do for the crowd? Well, it says he doesn't want any questions. He didn't give anybody a chance to even look at that. Like in the crowd, when I say, are there any questions, what's everybody doing? They're thinking and they're going, oh boy, I don't want to raise my hand. This could be bad. This could be a bad question. I might not look good. Fear. Right? And so I have to wait. I'm okay with it. Just like in the sales process, when you say it's going to be $10,500 including tax, we have a spot on our schedule next Monday. How does that sound to you? Okay. Do you have your checkbook with you? That you'll get it. So once you've made that question, you just stand there staring, Now look, the person on the other side of a closing question, what are they doing? They might be squirming. What else is going through their mind? That's what, some of them are just doing that. That's the positive side of things, right? They figure, hey, $62,500. Oh yeah, I got that right here. I can't believe the world I live in. I mean, every March I go, where is it all going to come from? I don't worry about that anymore. I leave that to the big guy.
In your sales process, you made a statement that says, make sure you ask good questions. And you do that because you pretty much know the answers that you're going to get. So you must have in your head 1 or 2 of your favorite questions that you ask to engage that customer. What are those questions?
Well, you see the handout I gave them with a whole bunch of questions on it? Those are some of the ones I like to ask. It's kind of funny because when we get there, you let the customer lead, right? And they meet you at the door and they go, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. Come in the backyard here. Here's what we wanted. So there's a question to be asked there. It's in the back 40, 1,800 miles from the front door. Oh, well, how come you want it here? Well, that'd be a good question. Now, are you from Colorado? No. Okay. Oh, bad question over here. And then, I'm not really sure, about a pond. I like those ones that, No, I don't think so. You know, so the questions are just like that. I know it seems like, oh yeah, it's so easy for him. But you let the customer lead. They ask you things and you sort of mine what they say. Well, what usually happens, Jim?
Well, I find typically you get similar questions as you go through the process. The key that I would say is to listen. That's what I find when I'm around other people that are selling or when people are asking us. Or I'm just looking at our sales process because like Doug says, we're always together. So I'm watching him and then he's watching me and then we talk about it later, and sometimes I'll notice, that we were maybe making too many statements or we didn't listen enough. Because I think that is the biggest thing to do. And in sales, they call it like your hot button, but the thing is you have to know what people want. So as soon as you get indications of why they want a water feature, what it is they might like about it, like Doug was saying, I like that long string. Well, it's great that they were able to get that out because now we say, when you have a long string here, you're going to love the fact that we can maybe make a crossing over it. So you end up really listening to your customer and giving them what they want. That's the key. And if you're too nervous or when we get, carried away at different times of the sales interview, we're not doing a really good service to our client. We're not getting all the information about what it is they want. It's our own fault. Listening is really, I think that's why it leads the interview.
In that process, at that point, when the client says, well, I don't really know what I'm looking for.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
That's why you're here. You're
You're
here
the
to
expert.
tell me what I want.
And that's good because that's an indication to me if they don't know what they want. So I'm good. So then we'll say, there's lots of options. Look for some photographs in your yard. We could suggest this and this. These are some things. And typically what I'll do is I'll quickly draw up something, just a size and a shape, and have two ballpark figures right there. Because even if they say, they never really tell us a budget. We never ask that question. I don't think it's a fair question to ask. And but we give them two prices. And inevitably, even if they have a $5,000 or $10,000 budget, they'll go to the next price.
Yeah.
You bring that menu with you?
Okay, we'll do that. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's many different ways to conclude a sale. Like let's just assume that all the information has been garnered and passed back and forth that is required. I just have a lot of fun with it. And I sell with a pond menu. I sell with a pond menu. I sell on one interview. The reason I do that is because I'm lazy. Sort of. The reason I do it is because there is tremendous energy. By the time we're finished, everybody's excited. We've painted word pictures. We've got it, plotted out on the yard. And the thing about it is if you're a two-interview person, you must stay very, very low energy. Just get information and be gone if you're going to do this. Because it's very difficult to bring people up, drop them down, say, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks, or I'll send you something. I just don't like that in sales. People can't sign through the phone, so you shouldn't sell them anything through the phone. You can't say, well, it'll only be this much. They can't sign a piece of paper through, don't worry about it. I pay $60 a ton for rock delivered. So that's why I can do what I can do. I'm lucky that way. So anyway, here's how it goes. After I say to the person, okay, do you have any questions, Jay, this and that? Jay goes, no, I'm all right. I think I got all the information I need. I will make a joke and I will say, well, Jay, I guess there's really only question we need to have answered, right? How much is this going to cost me? I put it right out there. How much is this going to cost me? And he'll go, yep, Doug, that's exactly what I want. And I'll just reach down into my briefcase and I'll say, well, you need to see the menu then. Just like a restaurant. Up she comes, and I put it right down in front of Jay. And He knows that he wanted a 30 by 20 pond, because he talked about it out there. He knows he wanted a 40 by 50, he knows he wanted a 10 by 15, he wanted an 8 by 10. He knows that he wanted large rocks, because it's a big pond, we talked about that. And my menu is split that way. Large rock construction and small rock construction. Right? So I just watch him looking down the menu and going across and seeing $28,500. Now, is he going to be happy with this? No. I mean, I don't know, probably not. Stop waiting for people to be happy about the price. Right? It just doesn't work that way. Or something weird's going on. I don't know. Anyway, like if they have information behind, like they already know what this pond costs because they ask your customer, they'll go down, yeah, okay, all right, okay. Now, are we going to have to fill this pond with water, or do you do it with the hose? You got to get a truck in? What's that called? That's a buying signal. Have they bought this pond? How do you fill a big pond like this? You fill it up with a truck, or you actually fill this with the hose? I go, oh no, I mean, this is too big for the hose. We're going to have to get a truck in. That's not real hose, that's not on there. So that's, about $375 a load, probably about 5 of them. And Judy and I can probably do it next month. I'd like to try to do it on May 1st, but I really can't, so that'll be May 15th. So how does that sound? That's good? Okay, I should get the contract after it's over. I mean, if it's going to be over, it's over right there. I close on a date. I always have my close planned in advance. And I close on a date. I know where I can do the pond, and I just say, well, Jay, okay, I can only do it in a month's time. I'm really sorry we should do it earlier than that. It's probably around May the 5th, so it's like call it a deflection call. It's not like, Jay, I'm so sorry. That's like amateur night in the arena. Just assume the close. Just go right past it. Now he's going to have other questions. He's going to have objections, and we're just going to go right around that again. Come right back to it. Well, the amazing thing about a menu is like I've already seen the property. I know where I'm going. I've been there. I know all these places. I know the digging. I know this. I know that. The menu doesn't change. I know what it's going to cost there. I price things out and I double it. It's quite simple. Yep.
I see on the menu you have like 10 by 15 pond, which I'm guessing is 11 by 16 pond.
Yeah, I don't
You
say
do
11 by
that-
16 anymore.
You do that because of the edges.
I think it's just so dumb to call them 11 by 16. I mean, if you really ask the customer, what do you think about 11 by 16? They'll probably say, why is it 11 by 16? Do you know why it's 11 by 16? Because the size of the line in the going UPS box is 20 by 15. It became that. It's just so arbitrary. It's just 10 by 15. Make it 11 by 16 if you want. Yeah, that's all.
I thought it was because of the edges. I thought you wanted to say, oh, this is the water. Some people sometimes,
very good point. Yeah,
sometimes
what did you say,
people-
Jack? We sell a hole. We sell a hole of rocks in it.
Yeah, you're selling the size of the hole, not the size of the pond.
Yeah, I often tell people that. I'm down there on the lawn going, there's a rock out here,
Yeah.
and there's another rock out over here. Oh, God, that's not even that. Yeah, I know, I went right through that. But there's another one after.
No, it's not.
No, like after lunch. Am I keeping them from lunch? What? How much longer? Okay, there's a difference between a stall and an objection. Like a stall is, I want to think about it. When people, it's not the worst one